Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to focus on the this keyword in JavaScript and what it refers to. So to get started, if you go ahead and go into your project folder, if you go ahead and go into the 32-this folder, then the start subfolder, if you can open up main.js, then in your browser, if you can go ahead and open up the index.html page, you should see this on the web page. So if you recall, we've used the this keyword in previous lessons. Mainly in our lesson on JavaScript objects, we use the this keyword to refer to our user profile object itself. So in JavaScript, the this keyword will refer to the object that this currently belongs to. And this will be kind of confusing because depending on the context of how this is used, then a different object will be returned. So the best way to see this is to do some examples. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and start with defining when we use this within a method, because we've already done that. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that up here. So when we use the this keyword inside a method, then this is referring to the owner of that method. So because full name belongs to our user profile object, we're able to use the keyword this to refer to this object. And so that's how we're able to do this.firstName and this.lastName. So in our next example, if we go ahead and just use this globally, then we're referring to our global object. So if I go ahead and do console.log this, and go ahead and save and refresh, you'll see that that refers to our window object, and because that's our global object. So next, we're going to take a look at using the keyword this in a function. So if I go ahead and do function test, and I just go ahead and return this, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do console.log test. So if we go ahead and save and refresh, you'll see that we're referring to our window object. And the reason for this is when we use this keyword in a function, this is referring to the owner of that function, so who that function gets bound to. So by default, your function will be binded to the global window object, and that's why when we refer to this, it returns the window object. So just as an example, if I do window.test, you'll see that I'm able to access my function. And then that's why when I refer to this, it's referring to the owner of test, which happens to be the window object. So one thing to know is if you are using strict mode, then the default binding for a function will be undefined when you use this. So we've not talked about strict mode yet, but basically it's a way for us to execute our code in a very strict mode, and it kind of restricts some of the things that we can do. And we'll be covering this more later in a different lesson. So the last thing I want to talk about is the this keyword in event handlers. So an event handler in JavaScript is a way for us to react to something that happens. And one great example of this is if you have a button on your web page and someone clicks that button, we can execute JavaScript when that button is clicked. So we've not discussed event handlers yet, but that's the general idea. And the reason I bring this up is because when we use the this keyword in context of this event handler, then this will be referring to the HTML element that received that event. So back to the example with the button click, if I use the this keyword when that button is clicked, then I'm going to receive information on that button HTML element.